Hello, everybody. Welcome to the American Cinematheque at the Los Feliz 3. Thank you all so much for being here for Paris is Burning. Let's make some noise for that. Tonight is co-presented and hosted by the Greg Proops Film Club podcast, available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Mr. Greg Proops himself will be up here in just a moment doing a live taping of said podcast, and then we will get to the film. I just want to plug some of the things we have going on at the Cinematheque coming up. If you want to stick around after this tonight, we're showing Blade Runner, the final cut. We have some great encore screenings coming up this week of All About Lily Choo Choo and Made in Hong Kong, because those had sold out previously. Fellini's 8.5 is coming up. Lots of great stuff here, as well as a bunch of stuff playing on 70 millimeter at the Aero Theater and the Egyptian Theater for the next couple weeks as we finish up the Ultra Cinematheque 70 Fest. That includes a couple screenings of a brand new 70 millimeter print of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Those screenings are selling out. One or two of them have already sold out. Get your tickets sooner rather than later if you're interested in that. I want to give a huge thanks to everyone in here who is a Cinematheque member. We couldn't do any of the things that we're doing, any of those things I just said, or this tonight without you guys. So thank you so much as always. And if you're not a member, it saves you money on your tickets. You get access to members-only screenings. There's info on that along with our entire calendar on our website at americancinematheque.com. And the last thing I'm going to say before we get rolling is please, once the film does come on, just please keep your phones away. We have a very strict no-phone policy, so thanks for your cooperation on that. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, please help me welcome to the stage our host, Mr. Greg Proops.
Hooray, hurrah! Once again, the Greg Proops Film Club conjoins here in Los Angeles' most enchanting cinematic confabulation, the Los Feliz 3. Tonight's feature is the documentary from 1990 by Jennie Livingston, Paris is Burning. This is where you applaud. Hooray. Thank you very much for coming out tonight, film people. What an exciting film, considering the circumstances, right? I mean, we're not really talking about a lot of great achievements by straight guys right now. And I'm a straight guy, by the way, and I make no fucking case for it whatsoever. And this movie was picked by my wife for that very reason. Whoa, we're in a... Jesus Christ, I'm going to break everything up here. We're in an insane moment in our country's history, and it's so important to get together and share this awesome film, because this is a film about so many different things, triumph and tragedy and joy, but mostly I think it's a triumph of the will to have something so exciting, glamorous, full of savoir-faire and panache, non-stop excitement and fashion and exuberance. And I think that this film wins in all those counts. If you've never, how many people have seen it before? 4. And so for the rest of you, you'll be very, very excited to see this motion picture. Now, you might have seen the television show Pose, which is decidedly off the back of this motion picture. Jennie Livingston shot this in New York in the 80s. And it took a long time to put together. So it takes place over a long period of time. And you're going to get to see an inside look at the drag balls in New York of the 80s, which are still going on, and also going on in other countries now. And I think the influence of all the people in the picture, as you know, straight white guys' influence in American history is often horrible and insanely tragic. By the way, this is a comedy show, so in case anyone feels like laughing, you don't have to feel uncomfortable. This isn't an NPR PBS fucking thing here. This isn't, I know I'm a middle-class, white, bougie dude, but I try not to enforce that. People were all upset that PBS was getting defunded, and I thought, well, maybe they'll have something good on now. That was a joke as well, but of course, maintain your sang-froid. I don't want you to get too... This is Los Feliz, after all, and I realize people don't laugh here. They simply go, yeah. Yeah, I thought about that in my hybrid on the way over. Oh, wait, I don't have a hybrid. I live in Los Feliz. I'm from San Francisco, and quite frankly, nothing's gay enough for me. I went to see the Scissor Sisters with my wife years ago when they were popular. When they first came out, and they were over at the Wiltern, I guess it was. And they weren't, you know, they were okay, whatever. My biggest complaint about the Scissor Sisters was they weren't gay enough. And they were supposed to be the gayest band that was ever gay or whatever. Elton John loved them and all that jazz. And I thought, I'm from San Francisco. This is where I come from. We had a group called the Cockettes in the late 60s, early 70s, who used to play at a theater in Chinatown at midnight. And they were the biggest confabulation of drugged out drag queens and insane hippie people that ever lived. And then I remember going to see Divine when I was in high school. I took a girl on a date to go see Divine. Thank you. Someone started to giggle. I thought it was amusing as well. You don't really hear a lot of straight guys go in the 70s. Man, I took my girl to see Divine. But if you, because the high school I went to at San Carlos High on the peninsula, and San Carlos, as I've said so often on the show, whitest place on earth, home of the Plain Yogurt Festival. Take out the fruit, the powerful taste is burning our tongue. We were really white. How white were you? Well, our Catholic school was named St. Charles. San Carlos means St. Charles, you guys. So we would drive to San Francisco for amusement, and San Jose if we wanted to get high on methamphetamine. And thank you. 2 people are from the Bay Area here. I'm guessing that this might be kind of a Midwestern crowd because so many people from Los Angeles have moved here to escape Indiana and Ohio. And I'm down with you. My other job, I travel around in an improv group. As you know, improv next to puns, the highest form of comedy. And in my improv group, we play everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean we play fucking Illinois and Ohio and Indiana and Iowa all the time. I never knew there were this many places in Iowa until I got there and played all of them. And if you think there's a lot of fat white people in California, you have not visited the Midwest. Because, yes, oh, you're so right, Greg, is your next answer. If you want to meet people who not only think that what's going on now is the best thing that ever happened, but will vote for it again and again. And what makes me laugh was because we live in a liberal area here, and people say things like, I don't understand why white people vote against their interests. They're not. White people's interest is racism. Their number one interest is being horrible. And their number 2 interest is gaining so much weight that they have to be buried by a crane in a piano case and lifted from their double-wide trailer upon the moment of their demise. Those are the only 2 goals white people have in the United States. Oh, and being homophobic and transphobic all the time. If you don't think the country's transphobic, what is going on now? We've got everything happening, but at least we can rest assured that no trans people will share a bathroom with us for the rest of our lives. And I'll put a point together that I heard yesterday on social media. If trans people are so dangerous to other athletes, how come trans people aren't the leading hitter in the National League and the biggest running back in the NFL and whatnot? You know, hello? So white people will literally believe any fucking stupid thing another white person tells them. That's why we are where we are now, and why we're showing the movie that's about Latin and black, gay and trans people in New York. Because they knew something, and they know something. And if we'd only followed their advice from day fucking jump of this country, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. So, having said that, I used to go see, like I said, Divine, who was fantastic, and it was a show called The Neon Woman. They'd actually had a play that she was in, and there was a plot, and the plot had cocaine in it and sexual assault. It was pretty good, and very entertaining play. And I remember going to see her, and then of course in San Francisco there was nothing but drag queens. In the 80s, they put on a fantastic version of The Bad Seed. If you've ever seen that motion picture, where the little girl's horrible and she kills people and whatnot. And then when her mother's near her, she acts all sweet and can you give me a basket full of kisses? And then when she's not around, the mom, she fucking killing babies and shit. It's a very good movie. And they did an all-drag version in San Francisco where the little girl was also played by a drag queen. And this is the kind of entertainment I was used to, right? Then you come to LA and shit, and like straight guys are getting up in t-shirts wearing a knapsack and shit. And the crowd goes quiet again. So, I'm a comedian, that's why I had to see that. and in stand-up, there's a lot of straight guys, and they're angry about a dazzling variety of topics, none of which have anything to do with anything that's happening on Earth. White men kind of live in this fantasy world where they think the things they think are dangerous are the things that I think are exciting and fun, and the things they're scared of are the things that I think are entertaining. And I think you'll find that that's been true since the Mayflower, exactly. Or was it, H. Rock Brown, or who was it? Eldridge Cleaver said Plymouth Rock landed on us. So here we are talking about this picture, and it's how much has gay culture given us? Well, gay black women gave us a little thing called rock and roll. And what we're talking about in this culture that we're going to watch tonight in the picture, the word voguing, the dance voguing, the idea of shade being thrown, all of these things generated from gay people with no money. And that you'll find, and I think you might want to keep this in mind as time wears on and we get closer to another voting section here in California, that rich white guys never think of anything. It is impossible for them to have an original thought. The money and all of the people telling them how great they are all the time and whatever, and their natural deficiencies and their tiny, awful, curved, speckled members that have held them back for so long. And that's the reason they overcompensate by starting giant tech firms or whatever, or diners over on Santa Monica. Now, unless your dick was completely crooked, and no one had ever let you inside them unless you'd given them an enormous bonus or perhaps a pony, would you build a cafe to yourself? So that's what I'm getting at here. These people in this picture are abjectly poor. Many of them have to do sex work simply to, if you'll pardon the expression, make ends meet. And so they're forced to be creative, and they're forced to find joy where they can find it, which is what we're all being forced to do right at the current juncture. And that's why we're here tonight, to find the joy in this picture. Now, there's another movie that came off the back of this one, and it's called I'm Your Venus. Now, Jennie Livingston made this, but a trans woman named Kimberly Reed made a picture called I'm Your Venus. You're going to see a character in this movie, and I'm pointing at the screen to indicate where you'll see her. Named Venus Xtravaganza, and you're going to fall in love with Venus Xtravaganza because Venus Xtravaganza is one of the more darling characters in this picture and one of the more tragic characters. And they made a picture about Venus Xtravaganza, her family, and what they've done since then, and it's called I'm Your Venus, and you can see it on streaming and whatnot. So I would suggest that one off the back of this one. And understand that some of the people in this movie went on to be famous choreographers, famous art directors, and famous dancers and whatnot. Willi Ninja, who's in this movie, was hired by all of the fashion houses so that he could teach women how to walk in a more feminine manner. Exactly. What we used to call, I don't know if anyone ever used to watch Tyra Banks' America's Next Top Model. For all I know, it's still on. It's probably on season 485 now. Because I think, what's the other one with Heidi Klum? That one's still on, isn't it? We abuse designers in a small room. That one, yeah. Make it work. America's Top Model, they used to call it sissification, where they'd have to teach women to walk like gay men so that they would be more feminine. And that's what Willi Ninja ended up doing, as well as being a fabulous choreographer and whatnot. So when you see the people in this movie, to me, like Marsha P. Johnson and all of the trans people that fought at the original gay pride, which was, oh my God, I just had a complete aneurysm. Yeah, thank you. Jesus Christ. The night Judy Garland died, I was about 9 years old. And when Judy Garland died in New York, there was a gay bar in New York called Stonewall. And the cops regularly went to the place, but the mafia owned the bar, so they didn't really care, and they let drag queens and trans people hang out there, and it was a gay scene. Those are the people that started the riot against the police in 1969. And if you may remember, we had a president before who was articulate, kind, calm, and a family person who there was no scandal attached to whatsoever, and his name was Barack Obama. And he made white people in this country absolutely lose their mind to the point where they had to install a Nazi twice. And that's exactly why this happened. The fact that there was a black man and a black woman in the White House, and that it all happened with Joe Biden hanging around, made white people short circuit beyond all measure. And I think that's why we're here now. Barack Obama, when he gave one of his speeches, said, mentioned Stonewall and Seneca, which was the first feminist conference in the 1840s, and Selma, the great civil rights march of the 1960s. And he said it in that order: Seneca, Selma, and Stonewall. And I think that's the kind of inclusivity that we're talking about here. And what are you getting at, Greg? That the people in this movie aren't just innovators and survivors. They're not just talented dancers, costumers, and people who put their own world together. A world of elan, a world of eclat, a world of fantasy, a world of riches, a world of imagination, a world of sexiness, a world of being. But they're heroes. They're fucking heroes. And there's so many people who aren't heroes. And a lot of them run the studios right here in Los Angeles. And again, that was a joke. Thank you. The whole crowd's gone quiet again. Greg, I got to go to work tomorrow. You live in Los Feliz, so I know you're not a fucking producer. When we do this at the Arrow in Santa Monica, you should see the fucking crowd there. Is he going to talk for more time before the movie begins? Because I'm almost certain Consuela's stealing while we're here. We're not home. Yeah. So there's so many people who aren't heroes, but there's so many people who are heroes, and we have to celebrate them. And I think that this movie celebrates the heroism of all of these figures in this scene. And of course, Madonna came along and did the song Vogue and put a bunch of gay people in it and made it way popular all around the world. And whatever you think of Madonna, and I don't care what you think of Madonna, but I happen to think she's a champion of gay rights, like Liz Taylor, like so many people you can think of that really went the extra mile to support gay people and whatnot. Speaking of the 80s, we had a president in the 80s who's fantastically dead now. And one of the happiest moments of my life was when he died. And I think you'll find that one thing we all have to look forward to as a group is a very special death coming up. And what a wonderful day that will be. And I don't mean to sound ooky or macabre or morose in any way. I'm not. This is from joy and love. This is absolutely bursting from the cornucopia of love that I have inside me. There's a line in Apocalypse Now that John Milius wrote where he says he had 4 people killed and enemy activity dropped off to almost nothing. He must have got the right 4 people. Well, when this death happens that I'm talking about, and you notice I don't even have to say who it is or what, because that's how on the same page we all fucking are. When this death happens, you will see this country change. And I mean that sincerely. And don't give me the, oh, but the other guy's gonna be worse. The guy who fucks couches, he's not gonna be worse. No one gives a shit about him. He couldn't get 8 people to follow him into the tunnel of love if he handed out condoms and a fucking purple invader to everyone who walked behind him. He couldn't get laid at a women's prison with a fistful of fucking pardons. When he's dead, a lot of shit is gonna crumble, and I think that's gonna be a wonderful moment for America. I'm sorry that I have to go that far with it, but in another sense, I'm not. Fuck it. You've seen World War II movies, and you probably heard people in your family talk about World War II. Now, I'm older than you. How much older? A lot fucking older. And my father was in World War II. Mind you, he was a teenager when he joined. He was also Jewish. And a lot of people are upset with Jews right now And all of us are getting pinned with the same, tag here. Now, we live in the United States. So say you were to go to another country, like San Francisco, or Mexico or something. You don't want to be blamed for everything that's going on in the United States simply because you're an American. So I think you understand where I'm going with this. In any case, my father was in World War II, and he fought against the very Nazis that are running everything right now. And it's not ironic. It's simply a cycle of history. So if my parents and your grandparents and great-grandparents could handle what happened in the 30s and 40s, we can fucking handle this now. And it is only by, by getting together. Isn't this going to be about movies? Movies are about us, and we're about them. And that's what this show is all about. This will pass, and this will be over, and it won't stay this way forever. And I'll tell you another goddamn thing. They're not going to fucking win. Yeah, they're not, okay? Don't let them scare you and shit. The idea that someone who looks the way they do could scare you, and the idea that they're frightened of homosexuality is so obvious for so very many reasons, and the fact that they're frightened of trans people. Because trans people have to have a power of will and a power of personality and a sense of self that they do not possess. Gay people have to have a sense of élan and éclat that they do not possess. They dress poorly. Oh, yeah, I used to do this joke on stage and people would get mad at me. I would be a Christian, I really would, if they fucking didn't dress so shitty, okay? You go out, you turn on TV and you see Christians on, they look like they gave themselves a haircut while they were sitting in a chair backwards. And where did they get those fucking clothes? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, if you're gonna be a Christian and bathe in the light of the Lord and shit, dress. I mean, go somewhere good. You have the money. You've stolen all the money from everyone else. Why don't you spend some of the fucking money on grooming and shit? You telling me you have to look like shit in order to worship this fucking bullshit God that you came up with? The white, blue-eyed fucking God that's mean to everyone or whatever? What happened to the gay God who's fucking snorting shit in the bathroom and then gives you a bump when you come in? That's the God I want. I want the trans God who goes, have you tried this? I made it. And then you're like, should I say no to drugs? No. And then everything is solved. So there we are. This movie has a lot to say about a lot of things. And the other great part of this movie, on top of the fact that it's exhilarating as well as tragic, is that it's 78 minutes long. And it gets it going and it gets it done right the fuck away. And you're gonna dig it, and I'm so very happy to show it. And I'm so pleased that you came out tonight. Jennifer and I are showing a movie during the Podcast Fest, or I think it's called Friends of the Fest here. The Cinematheque has been so kind to us and let us play here for years and years and years at all the different theaters, the Egyptian and the Aero, and this one as well, the Los Feliz Tres, rather. And we're going to be showing a picture during that festival that Jennifer also picked, and you may understand why when I tell you the name of it. We're going to show from 1968, Mel Brooks' The Producers on August 26th, so you may want to come back for that one. If you've never seen the original movie of The Producers, it's very funny. And guess what? They make fun of Nazis the whole time. And really nothing is funnier. And I'll give you this to go with. There's nothing more subversive than laughter in the face of all this jazz. And two, find your own joy all the time, because that is an act of rebellion as well. And no one would know this better than the trans, gay, black, and Latin people that are in this picture. Without subversion and without finding your own joy, there is nothing in life. And I give you now, from 1990, Jennie Livingston's documentary, The Fabulous Paris is Burning.